a very useful myth to the capitalist powers, so why not perpetuate it? But I
40 million people died under Stalin.
know what you're thinking. Everybody knows the US has a thing for prisons. That's like one thing we could ease back on a little.
Sorry, between 25 and 40 million people. Well, let me just be specific now.
That doesn't make the country authoritarian.
This is the U.S. intelligence agency, mind control.
Authoritarianism, the practice of eating only people who have published books. Wait, that's not right. Authoritarianism, truly one of the words of all time.
You should.
A decadent
seven-syllable. Capitalize it.
Yeah.
I'm in Spain without the S.
And it's like he's like the. You see how much, like, attention to detail is going on with like the lighting and the set and all.
It's a soundstage, that's why.
I think it's like his actual house, but like
I reckon it's a soundstage.
You think he has
nobody's desk is that clean?
No, he sets it up for the video. Bro, look, he's even got like his editing computer behind him with him on it. Like, calm down. Maybe focus on using capital letters, and then we'll do the interior design stuff.
Syllables long and wonderfly vague. If you've ever had a conversation about
more
politics,
money there than like in my entire like house in the background of this, you know.
Just in the computer.
Well, just like those lights are probably like way overpriced for no reason, you know. And then who knows what dildos and plants he's got up there.
And if you're watching this channel, I'm sure you have, you've likely heard someone use the term, or maybe you've even used it yourself.
Never.
It's popular in pretty much every corner of the mainstream political spectrum. Liberals, conservatives, the dreaded centrists, and even some lefty groups like anarchists and libertarian socialists. But what does it mean?
Gross,
and what gives it so much weight in the political discourse? Well, that's what this video is about.
Great.
We've got a pretty poor understanding of what authority is here in the West.
You want more volume?
Yeah, it's a little low because when I edit it, it'll be easier.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Love the movie.
Let's start with the generally accepted definition. Authoritarianism, favoring or enforcing strict obedience to authority, especially that of the government, at the expense of personal freedom. Okay, this is a pretty bad definition if we're being honest.
Racist
it mentions the government.
You must have known you were wrong.
Government in there.
When your fingers were dipped inside me, searching for honey.
Banish it.
That would not come.
Banish.
From you.
Gone. Banish that soundbite. Get rid of it. That's
you
awful.
Like it?
That's awful.
Do you want the other version?
Fucking banish it.
We're the United States of America, for God's sake.
Okay, this video is gonna take forever. I'm telling you, dude.
But doesn't really
it's gonna break me. I just know it.
To being political, just kind of when you want people to follow the rules. That's not super helpful when we're trying to nail down a heavily used term.
This is awful. This is horrible. At least use a highlighter, or B, different colors.
You don't understand. If he uses a highlighter, Illuminati will sue him. She literally it was like a super lefty, and like it came out, she basically had a slave commune, and like owns their like cars and their houses, like literally modern slavery shit for sure. Like the way she held leverage over people to like enslave them. It is literally modern slavery. It's wild. And she's shooing all the victims now, too.
That's awesome.
Evil, dude. Evil.
So it's basically that sort of immigrant slavery in Europe, pretty much.
Yeah, but this is like, hey, you want to come edit for me? Now you're a slave.
Yeah. It's Ancapistan.
No, she's like a commie.
No, I'm aware. I'm making a joke.
and one that deals with some serious topics. Okay, so what if we expand it to include how people generally use the term? Generally speaking, when someone uses the word authoritarian, they are often, but not always, using it as a term to demonize a system that is different from their own.
No, we use it. So here's where it comes from. When police club people in the head, okay, that's when we start saying like you'll hear people start saying authoritarian state, authoritarian police. You know, you have to, okay, you got to do the Google Trends, right? And you got to look if that word goes up when riots go up, and get back to me on that. That's called like doing research and using data.
Regardless of the facts, they're using it as a synonym for totalitarian, a word
No.
you
They're
don't
not.
really hear much anymore.
That is a completely different
No.
word.
Capitalize your fucking letters, okay?
Please.
I'm gonna be an authoritarian on you by your definition.
A totalitarian is different. An authoritarian government is still a government of sorts. Totalitarianism is a
Authoritarian doesn't even
dictator.
have to be a government.
No, not necessarily, right? But a totalitarian state is literally a dictator, single person. A monarchy would be a totalitarian state,
Mhm.
right? Or
I almost never use
s-
totalitarian.
it's so dated. It's so dated. Like authoritarianism is just so much better. Like and totalitarianism doesn't really exist
Honestly,
in
at this
a
point, I don't give a fuck, and I just like
yeah.
everything I don't like is fascism now. I just stopped caring.
I still use it properly.
No, if you've noticed, I've changed it to saying romanticism
Yeah. I'll only use it properly
because that throws a wrench in their thinking. Because
because they make
and
them
they have
think
to
for a
go and
second.
learn that they don't think because if they have to think about, wait, what does he mean by romanticism, and then they have to learn and like
Yeah.
go read. It's like, oh shit, I only think based off of my emotions and like things that are made up in my head. Oh, and that's
Awful.
it influenced socialism. Crazy. And what else did it influence? Oh, liberalism. Okay.
It's sort of fallen by the wayside in favor of authoritarian. Kind of like using the word commie as a slur has been superseded by tanky in the last few
No,
years.
honestly,
Same
I'm
idea.
going back to commie. It's way funnier to just I say commies all the time. It's so funny. Like I mostly do it as a satirical thing now, because like I
Yeah.
obviously don't give a shit about like communism.
Also, I think
So
commie has fallen out of favor because tanky is more used on the left, and the left populates
I think
social media
tanky is
more.
just getting. I think it's. I'm in a tanky as kind of cringe era. You
Mm.
know.
Well,
So
commie
like
is also
I'm
like
also, if you've seen me using Twitter, I'm only calling people dinguses. Like I'm not getting banned, dude. I'm not getting banned from Twitter, okay?
I love troglodyte because Twitter doesn't pick it up. But you're literally calling someone a cave dweller. It's great.
But like Kami and dingus are like my go-to things right now.
Well, commie is also like a Cold War era slur. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? That's also why
that's
it's
why
fallen
it's
out of order.
hilarious.
It's also why it's funny. I might pick that up too. That's funny.
I always say it's always plural though. Like
What do you
I
mean?
wouldn't say someone's a commie, I would say they're a tanky. But if I'm
Mm,
describing a group, it's always commies.
they're
The
commies. That's funny.
Different era. Both of these words, authoritarian and
Like, we
totalitarian,
literally
have been
just did a
leveled at
video where we were
fascism
talking
and
about why
communism.
Vietnam is a great communist country and based as fuck, you know? It's like the problem is this guy is not Vietnam. Like Luna Oi is gonna be having a way better video than this, you know?
Both of these words, authoritarian and totalitarian, have been leveled at fascism and communism.
Uh-huh.
Hot tip. They're neither.
Tell me more about your life on fucking Twitter, bro.
Like the ideology of fascism and the ideology of communism, if we're really talking about them, right? At,
I don't care.
right? But if we're
Come on,
really
bro. Are these
talking
people
about them,
relevant? Are they really relevant? What are they gonna do?
but like if we're really talking about it, fascism is an authoritarian system. Communism can be either, and so can fascism. Really,
Yeah. Well, the thing
they can
is
be
that
either or neither.
well, fascism is not exact. Well, from the fascist systems that I've seen, especially because in my experience in the modern sense of
Mm.
fascism, for example, I think the best example and the classic example is like India with Modi, right? Other great examples of a modern fascist. Just so we can piss everyone off in the spectrum all at once.
China.
Erdogan, Bibi Netanyahu. All three of them are the same person.
Mm.
Now, so like India, it's not all under a totalitarian dictator, you
Mm.
know? Like Turkey almost got voted out. Netanyahu's not even like technically democratically elected. Israel's government is like so badly set up. It's like almost as bad as Pakistan. It's crazy how shitty their government structure is. But like Erdogan almost lost, these people like are totally fascist, supported by fascist.
Mm.
But really now, like I said, like I think like Hitler was really just the first populist who used like a romanticized nationalism
Didn't
to
Erdogan's party just post a picture with the grey wolf thing?
well, yeah, they've literally been talking about how they're going to genocide the Kurds while
Yeah.
being like Israel is bombing Palestine, and that's wrong.
Mm.
Hey Israel, sell us more of those guns.
But here's another lesson for this guy. North Korea, totalitarian.
Yep.
China, totalitarian.
It is now. 5 years ago, I
Yeah.
would have
Yes,
disagreed.
it would
with
have
you,
been authoritarian.
though.
India,
Syria,
authoritarian. Syria, totalitarian. Turkey, authoritarian.
Saudi
Russia,
Arabia.
authoritarian. Saudi Arabia, totalitarian. There
Here's
is
a
a
hard one.
fucking difference. Go on.
Here's a hard one for you. Afghanistan.
Totalitarian.
There's no central power though.
Exactly. So the Taliban is enforcing rule through force. Totally.
And it's it's really like just like being in Syria and like whenever they talk, right? You'll hear them talk and they'll say thing like they'll always say like fascist Turkey. They'll never just say Turkey, right? They'll always put the fascist in there every time. And like when they're talking about ISIS and stuff, they almost like always just said fascists. In a lot of the stuff. English, and there's like different like ways to there's like 3 different ways to say that group's name, so
okay. That's probably it.
Often in a direct attempt to conflate the two.
Direct
This is
attempt? Oh, come on. Excuse the ignorance.
Largely due to the US's extreme anti-communism post-World War II, to the point that they'd lump in their former friends, the people without whom the Allies could not have won the war, with what most people believe to be the greatest evil in history. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's all well and good. People use a political term vaguely to demonize their opponents. Big surprise. But we still need some specifics. What exactly makes a state authoritarian?
I can't wait for him to tell me something I already know for him to tell me something wrong. I'm so excited. I know.
Well, if you have a scroll through the comments of just about any political video that talks about socialism, you'll find people ready with their pre-written list of objections, usually bundled under the prime objection, that's authoritarian. Things on that list include the existence of large prisons or labor camps,
Tell me more about your
a
Twitter
police
experience.
force, state media, a strongman leader, censorship, that's
That's not censorship, my dude.
a covert
What?
police force, state
Media? Yeah. You waiting for Donald Trump?
No. Look at what they used.
Yeah, I saw NPR. What about it?
It's barely state media.
It's National Public Radio. I know. I would have used like Voice of America.
Yeah,
like,
there's so many more
like,
examples.
I don't know. There's this. I don't know. Who cares?
NPR is not one of them. He's using NPR because Elon took their tech, or whatever the fuck that row was about where he had a fight with NPR.
I don't
Also,
know. I have Elon blocked for a reason.
did you see that he took New York Times gold tick away?
No, I could care less.
It's a laugh. It's like for the Israel story, the redactions. It's so funny. I hope he does it to all of them. He's just trying to drive the media off Twitter. I swear to God.
Yeah,
Media,
because then
a
it's
strong
easier to sell to agents as like an
True.
information warfare tool to like weaponize against people.
Sure, let's just let Donald Trump come right into our home. Yeah, go ahead. Come on in, buddy. All right, fine.
strongman leader, censorship, that sort of thing. And to be fair, all those things do sound scary, and none of them are ideal. I think we can all agree that we'd love to live in a society where prisons didn't need to exist. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we go any further, I want to emphasize that I'm not
so we
trying
can
to
agree
attack
that
anyone here.
technically prisons aren't authoritarian, right? Because we haven't figured out a society and a system that allows for it. But by definition, authority is like eroding of personal freedoms, right?
Yeah. Yeah, by definition, yeah.
Yeah, so by definition, prison is an authoritarian structure, but it doesn't make a state authoritarian.
What if you just sent him on a boat out to sea?
Well, I was going to go with Guantanamo as the follow-up, but
What if you just exiled them? You're like, see you later.
I mean,
come back in
that's
10 years.
that's that's the policy in the Mediterranean. Better than the policy in the Arabian Peninsula, though.
What's that?
Mortaring you.
Oh, epic.
With United States weapons.
Very cool.
I know, right?
It's all Australia's is pretty good as well. We put them on prison islands.
Yeah, no, well that's honestly like those are migration camps though.
They're migrant camps for people who come on boats. And then they put them there for 10 years and don't give them food and then they starve. Yeah, it's very cool.
Well, I'm just saying that's a different thing than prison. Separate issues.
What am I doing here?
escape.
In the middle of the ocean, surrounded by frozen corpses.
That was so perfect.
The objection to authoritarianism is present in a lot of different camps. People may define it a little differently. For example, a libertarian might call seatbelt laws authoritarian, while a liberal might consider the influence of the church on the government.
Are these people relevant?
They literally are, though. Seatbelt laws are authoritarian. By definition,
law. You could say law is authoritarian, but then you're getting into the point if it doesn't mean anything again. Come on. like
they are. If I don't want to wear a fucking seatbelt, I shouldn't have to because me not wearing a seatbelt doesn't impact you.
Well, guess what? Like in America, you get shot in the head for it. So
very cool.
No, but like, bro, like, let's shut up. Like, how about this? You think seatbelt laws are bad? Imagine a mandatory compulsory hijab. Get at me.
Yeah. Awful.
Go like cry about it. Guess what? You know what else? Also, like it really doesn't matter because if you don't put the seatbelt on, the car starts yelling at you now.
Well, if you leave it yelling at you for like 5 minutes, it turns itself off.
Fuck that. Like why?
Just pull the fuse out, then it doesn't bing.
Why would you?
Problem solved.
Government authoritarian.
Or clip it in and just sit on top of it.
Meanwhile, my anarchist friends are yelling from the back of the room that the very existence of a state is authoritarian and we need to abolish bedtime.
Okay,
again,
listen.
Teasing, no offense intended.
No, buddy. Let me explain something to you, okay? Okay? Capitalism is directly linked to the nation state. Now, we were just looking at that movie, right? Did he say your state doesn't deserve to exist? He said your nation, right? What do you think he meant by that?
If we're talking in the terms of Nazi Germany, he's talking about the people.
Oh,
the people of that
okay.
state.
So when you separate the nation and the state, right? Now this is the problem with brain rotted commies, right? the state apparatus, for example, this easy example of the US, the government literally almost shut down because of something that should be on auto renewal. Why are fascists anywhere near that structure? Like, why is that there? You know?
Valid
That's
question.
stupid. That's stupid. Why is that a thing though? Because specifically, the foundation of the nation state didn't come with these progressive liberal ideas of how the state should like provide and care, right? Until much later when it stopped being a priority on whose authority it was, right, in the state. Even like in the French Revolution, it's like one of the first things they try to do was a fucking state terror regime, right? So the separation of it's like the separation of church and state. There needs to be a separation of nations and states. Now we look at Israel and Palestine. Now, anyway, it's a controversial thing, but basically, if you are educated enough and you still advocate for like a two-state solution, I think you're really just like being like apartheid is cool because it's unrealistic. The thing is that there's one state there, right? The West Bank are de facto in the Israeli state, right? But they're still recognized as a state, and now you get this state within state thing. Always fuck shit up. It also happens in Iraqi Kurdistan. The North and the South completely divided. Both of them are running a different like state, right? Iraqi Kurdistan, brink of collapse right now, right? Even though US, it's like, hey, we got 50 states within states. We made it work, I guess. But the thing is that the idea of the nation state is what oppresses Palestinians, not Israel, not Zionism. The idea of a nation state. Now, if you go back and you look at Ben Gurion, who founded Israel and like is like the ultra Zionist, right? He said he wanted to found a Jewish government in Palestine. Palestine just being the region. Now, the idea of the separation of states, the DMV, I don't have to fucking worry, you know? I don't have to elect somebody into the fucking DMV and shit, right? It just functions. Why is like the auto renewal for the budget not like the DMV? Why are we playing games with
it's
like
because they want to
people's lives
squeeze their own
getting
agendas into the bill. That's why.
But that's why these politicians need to represent nation, right?
That's why
And like
politicians should
the
be
idea
erased
of nation,
and replaced.
the idea of nation needs to die with the idea of like ethnicity, right? Because like nations, parties, confederacies, like these all need to kind of be melting pot terms for the separation of the state. It's not that the state's existence causes that, it's that the state formation was structured because of the like the federalism and liberalism. So if we're against liberalism, which I know you're going are because I've watched a little bit of this video, right? So you're already against liberalism. Federalism also sucks. Maybe federalism was why the Soviet Union failed. Maybe if they were a confederal
Australia's
system,
a federalist state.
Yeah, look at what federalism did in Ethiopia.
It's
right?
awful.
So why are states federalized? It's because of the capitalist system. The UN enables this, right? The UN enabled the crisis in Palestine because Israel needed to exist as a state to even apply there. But also like this whole like the idea like one of the main things that really is keeping Kurdistan divided is this obsession with the Kurdish state. This is really became relevant and clear in Iran, right? So I firmly believe that the regime is like smart enough to do this type of warfare where they basically are using the ideas of nationalism and not ethno-nationalism, not just regular nationalism, ethno-nationalism to keep the people divided so they don't like unite to rise against them, right? And Iran also controls the southern Iraq state of Kurdistan, you know. And technically the PUK, they've always been more recognized by the Iraqi state as well.
Yes.
And like so But then you go to northern Syria, and like they're rejecting the term Rojava because it's not a Kurdish state, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rojava is just a part of the nation, and it's just a small part of it. And then the misinformation with the Del Zor clashes, right? It's just to get
Yeah.
like Iran needs that and they get a highway to the Mediterranean if they take that city, right? So the Turkey and Iran both benefit. So the Turkmen are attacking in the north out of Afrin right now, and the Iranians are in Del Zor, right? Both of them benefit from each other using narratives. So like they're trying to like frame it as like the Arabs have had enough of like the Kurds' authority and stuff like that. It's literally like Assad
Kurdish
loyal
area.
Arabs,
Yeah.
and the Kurds don't live in this city. It is like our first episode, the girl we interview, she's from this city, right? Like this
Okay.
is like not a Kurdish city. It is like literally on the border of Iraq, like halfway, like it's
Yeah.
like halfway down in like Syria, right? So it's like a middle road. Because there's three main roads. The top one would be the
Okay.
M4 highway that leads to Iran, and that leads through. That's all
well,
Kurdistan,
that's
right? And that's
why.
why Iran wants to control that. Turkey
Mm-hmm.
is mainly actually fighting over the control of that highway because they already
Yeah.
have the pipeline, Turkey and
Mm.
Iran. It's just been closed for political crises now, so they
Yeah.
can control and rape the Kurdish land of all its oil, including in northern Syria. That's their goal. The point is that they're lying. There is no like Arab tribes rebelling. The Arab tribes are like the ones fighting the Iranians, and also the whole narrative that you have in like Idlib that like the Kurds are like allies of Assad, right? They literally are like fighting Assad.
Yeah.
Like they're literally engaging in gunfights right now,
That's
killing
such
each other.
bullshit.
You know?
That's so funny. Anybody who knows anything will be able to tell that that's bullshit. Fucking absurd. Anyway, we got 20 fucking minutes of this video.
Okay.
No more
Sorry.
20-minute tangents.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, we all on the same page?
No.
Authoritarianism is a red flag for a lot of people,
You're a
and
red
there are
flag.
some
Shut up,
specific
Tommy.
objections we can consider. So, let's consider them.
Okay.
Here's what we're going to do for the rest of the video. First, we'll look at the list
Fascist
of objections
symbols.
as understood
Fascist
by liberals.
What?
symbols. Do you not know that there's literally the fascist symbols in the United States Congress?
No, where?
Next to the flag on the left and right side, it's literally a fascist.
What is
It's
it?
it's the bundle of sticks with the axe.
Oh, that's
It's
hilarious.
literally the fascist symbol. It's on each side because the
That's
symbol
so funny.
predates fascism.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's so funny.
If it gets close up and you see it sometime, you'll always see it now. They like almost like don't zoom in on it purposely. They kind of like always like slightly frame them off. I think they're kind of aware.
That's so funny.
And I mean that in the broadest sense. Liberals as in subjects of liberal states, not in the conservative versus liberal sense.
Okay.
Then we'll look at those same...
Do we care about what liberals think?
No. But listen, he's saying anyone who lives in a liberal state.
Ah, okay.
Okay. I thought it was just like people he thinks are liberal. That is a way broader fucking like that is a pretty big area of people we're just like throwing in there.
Same objections as understood by the left. Again, pretty broadly speaking. Basically everyone from social democrats and beyond.
It
Then
irritates
finally,
me
we'll
that he
consider
puts
a
a
better way
period
to
after the
understand
two, but not at the end of the sentence.
And no capital letter at the start.
I really hate the no capital letters thing.
But he capitalized all the title.
Also, like even like with the way his banner works, just like because of the like it's not exactly hard to read, but it's not exactly easy to read because there's like these white, you know what that is in the background?
Looks like DC.
Yeah, look at you, geolocator.
I've fucking been there.
Yeah, well, there it is. It looks like Mos Eisley.
I've been to that dick thing. It's
Uh-huh.
got a bunch of American flags around it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, America's cringe. They should.
My
favorite
thing about
do you know how
having-
much affordable housing we can put right in this right here, bro?
Right in the green bit in the
right, Garrett. Like
yeah,
just kick
so
the
much.
fucking dick spire over. Who gives a shit? And also, you know,
I,
like they don't allow buildings in DC to be built above the spire.
Seriously?
Do you think that's efficient?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, okay. So let's kick that dick over. Fuck George Washington.
It's
Like,
funny though.
okay.
Having
George,
been to
George
DC,
Washington? Oh, he fought a war. Oh, he was in the
like
French and Indian War.
having
You
been
know,
to DC, it's really funny seeing like movies and TV and games that replicate DC or are filmed in DC. I'm like, I've been there. Like that
it's
fucking train station. I'm like, I've taken a train from there. I still have the train card.
I will say that out of like the actual like capital part of DC, it is actually like unique as compared to like other places in America. Like New York, New York, fuck off. Who cares? Detroit, fuck off. Who cares? LA, fuck off. Who cares?
Authority and
Others,
authoritarianism.
what other
Sound
cities
good?
suck? Chicago, fuck
What
off.
have
Who
you said
cares?
so far?
All of them, fuck them.
All
Who
of them?
gives a shit? Oh, okay. Here's another city that has identity: New Orleans.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine it's very unique from other cities.
Is he moving a couch right now?
Who?
This guy. Is he literally about to move a couch and change sets?
Yes. He's used this as B-roll.
Hassan's shelves are cooler.
This is so cool. This is too long.
Bro, come on.
This is too long.
All right, liberal friends.
I've got
a
you
pretty
put
good
fucking
idea of the
curtains
kinds
up
of
for the
places you
shot,
feel.
dude.
List Soviet Union, the big one. Perhaps the
It
target
might
of
be
the most
Belarus.
intense smear campaign
Bro
in
thinks
history.
he's on the team.
And we've got
Okay.
Cuba, China, North Korea,
Boy.
and likely a handful of other projects. But I think it's safe to say that these are the big ones.
Hey!
When you look at any of these projects, it's not difficult to see the one thing they all have in common. They're all socialist.
They're all fucking cringe.
No. Okay, no. I disagree.
Big hammers are cringe.
Yeah, I disagree. Because they're commies.
Yeah. They're
They're all
not
commies.
socialist.
All commies. Everything is commies now.
And when you see this,
get off
it's
this
not entirely
I hate this fucking statue. You know,
unreasonable to come to the conclusion that
much,
authoritarianism is a core feature of socialism. We'll
With a
address
little
this a
fat
bit
boy.
more
I love
thoroughly
Kim
in a few
Jong Un
minutes,
though.
but
Like Kim Jong Un is probably one of my favorite dictators right now. But like I fucking hate North Korea. The
Communism is a
idea
core
of it,
feature
the structure of it.
Yeah. Lose pudgy
But-
little face. Then you want
Bro,
to just pinch his cheeks?
He had to fucking like, bro. This dude is gonna die so soon because of his smoking and drinking.
He definitely has advanced fucking liver disease.
Bro, all he drinks is Hennessy
That's so funny.
out the bottle.
What a
And then he
baller.
like hanging out with Dennis Rodman, you know? Like it's so funny.
I love it. I feel sorry for the people there, but he is a character. He and Trump together were one of the
Yeah,
funniest.
he
fucking
I
pairs.
and like the thing is like his dad was a little too crazy and like maniac, right? He's like, you know, pathetic.
Yeah. I think he's a psychopath. I think he's a calculated psychopath.
I think he's a man child.
But yeah, I think he's got a bit of a stunted growth. I think he's got a couple daddy issues.
of socialism. We'll address this a bit more thoroughly in a few minutes, but suffice it to say that in the West, we may have a slightly biased opinion on the matter.
His
through no fault
lighting
of our
is
own.
just like
We've
pissing me off now.
been subjected to nearly 100 years of
It's
Red
just
Scare
way
propaganda.
too good.
Oh
for
my
YouTube.
god. We
You
need to
know?
stop pausing. It's
I'm
3
just-
hours
You don't
already.
have to pause. Me
I'm
saying
sick.
it's way
I'm
too
over-
good for YouTube. Like you don't have to pause on me saying I don't like his lighting. These are things you can power through.
Everything we're taught growing up in the imperial core, especially in the US, points us towards the conclusion that communism is evil and capitalism is righteous. But here's the part where I'm going to have to ask you to be willing
some
to
jihad
consider some unpleasant
manuals
truths.
here.
And I don't say these things to engage in whataboutism or because I'm anti-American or something.
I'm not
Quite
even
the contrary.
listening.
I believe that in order for any country to live up
You
to
wanna
the
talk,
standards
say
it sets for
pause.
others, it needs to soberly
No.
reflect on the facts. And the facts indicate that everything
If
we're
you want me
taught
to
about
pause,
these
say
awful
pause.
authoritarian
I
socialist
will.
countries,
I'll tell you.
we are also guilty of, and
Uh-huh.
often to a far
Here we
greater
go.
degree. Let me elaborate.
So some what
One
about
thing
isn't
that
then?
rarely gets the attention it
Okay,
deserves
pause.
is how we talk about authoritarian.
Literally almost like about a month off from exactly a year to a date, Iran has killed another girl for
Yes.
not wearing a hijab. Okay? The United States, if we're going to really do these things with the United States, we can't just do it with everything. And I think we need to focus on a specific thing that has plagued the United States, right? And it's the continued legacy of like unjustified like detainment and the using it to deprive human rights, obviously slavery, right? The boarding schools, the concentration camps for the Japanese, Guantanamo Bay, right? The prison industrial complex in modern America. These things are specifically American problems that America really needs to fucking deal with and wake the fuck up about. This is something that other countries don't have. Like Norway, everyone loves them, right? What do they have? Just like one terrorist guy,
One terrorist guy, the terrorist guy that has
Yeah, right.
been
But you
the
know what I
guy
mean?
that
It's
everybody mimics. Just
like
one guy though.
Greece, like who gives a shit? Like who's really like being like, oh, Greece, you know what you do? Like, yeah, Greece's like police suck, like whatever. Like even like Hungary, right? I don't care. I really could care less about Hungary. Okay. Poland, I was looking to see if the elections matter and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like I don't care there either. But it was cool, just in like the climate of Europe because everything was going away pro EU, now another pro EU came in, keeps the balance and stuff. Anyway, the point is I don't give a shit about most things that countries do.
Authoritarianism. And I mean that literally, like the very words we use. Take the DPRK.
Yep.
We never hear about the government of North Korea. We hear about the Kim regime. This is common when Westerners talk about non-capital.
That's because he's a totalitarian. You
Yeah,
fucking idiot.
I don't say that because I'm not a loser though. Like who the fuck says that, bro? We say his name, like Kim Jong Un. Like
Yeah.
why? Like regime. We're only talking about the regime if we normally will say dynasty, right? I think
Yeah.
dynasty is more accurate as well. Or I say the Kim family. I rarely will say regime. I think.
I mean, it would be classified as a regime theoretically.
Yeah, it's an authoritarian.
Well, it's
regime.
totalitarian. It's
I mean, on the
nobody
Freedom
has
Index
say.
scale, there's no totalitarian
Right.
on the
Okay.
Freedom Index, right?
Yeah. But like he's one of the small examples of a totalitarian state.
Yeah, and it's such a
Essentially
small...
a monarchy. It's a
Oh, you know what's a great one? Brunei.
Yes. Perfect example of a totalitarian state.
Now that we've established words mean things.
Yes, words do mean things. It's very important.
Governments, or even capitalist ones that aren't vassal states.
Also, you wouldn't call North Korean government the North Korean government because there is no North Korean government. It's just Kim.
By the way, he just said capitalist states that aren't vassal states. So just so we don't miss that context.
I did hear that.
No one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
We and our allies have a government. The way we talk about different systems goes a long way towards coloring our perception of them. People criticize labor camps or secret police or any number of other scary authoritarian words. But here's the thing. We have those too.
No, we
and
don't.
if you look at the data, often to a far greater extent than any socialist project in history. We just don't call...
Pause. As I said, the prison industrial complex is bad. Now, there's also this, if you go on the modern slavery index, the labor is recognized as modern slavery. So it is there for that. You can anything that has to do with like detainment of human rights, it's okay and relevant to compare to the United States because the United States has no place being compared to fucking North Korea and the fucking gulags that are out there chopping the lumber that we import, right? So that's part of it. Now, the other thing, like, bro, okay. Like, I mean, we have like undercover detectives, but like this is one of these people that think like the FBI is gonna come get him and the CIA is after them.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I literally like communicate with terrorists. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's the
They're
people who
not.
think the Tom Clancy shows are real life.
Oh my god, dude, watch out! And then they fucking. I bet you this guy is a fucking Nest thermostat too. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Bro, like, shut up. Like, I have an aunt. She works for the government. She only will message me on WhatsApp. It's very
That's
funny.
so funny.
It's very funny, right? Or not WhatsApp. Signal, the encrypted
Signal,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
So yeah, secret police.
Is that because you talk to terrorists?
No. She works for the government.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Is it because you work for terrorists? Or
No,
work
she
work
probably
for?
doesn't know about any of that. She specializes in like as far as I know, she did like Kosovo, Albania, like stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but like I don't know exactly what she does, but I just know it's like stuff like that. It's like in the government. And like my cousins all were at the Pentagon too. Like they're not there anymore, but like they all were able, like my family's able to pull jobs at the Pentagon and shit. I could go if I wanted. I don't know. No degree, right?
Yeah. You've got practical experience though.
Oh yeah, they don't give a shit though.
No?
No, because you need to bow down to an institution.
That's fucking stupid.
Right? Because like degrees are like mandatory for a lot of this shit, right?
Well, fuck that. Go to a private company.
Well, it gatekeeps the poor out of positions of power.
Of course.
Don't call them by those names. We don't have secret police. We have plainclothes officers.
Oh my
I
god!
told you he was gonna plainclothes officers. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Plainclothes police officers don't black bag you, disappear you, and then bury your body in the desert, never to be seen again. You fucking moron.
Also,
how fucking stupid are you? So basically, what he's saying is plainclothes officers are the SS of America. Cool.
This is so America brain pilled, like America bad brain pilled, because like the whole thing, the imagery of bagging people, right? We have.
Yes.
After 9/11.
Yeah, recently too.
That's part of the legacy I'm talking about that we can criticize, right? Plainclothes police is stupid. Like, we literally did this. We allowed, okay? Now, let me explain why terrorism exists. It's because of the prison system in Arab states. That's it, all right? So what do we do after 9/11? We say, hey, any terrorists you guys got, send them our way, right? We gave carte blanche to every authoritarian regime in the Middle East to just go out and arrest anyone they wanted to label as political extremists. Those people then go into the CIA's custody. They literally don't have places to put these people. Right, because like the CIA is like just trying to create black sites just to hold people. It's all public, and like just reading the report on like how badly this program was like falling apart from the start is wild. Like so many people got caught up in this dragnet, and like so many innocent, right? And with like the Japanese camps, right? Imagine if we're doing that shit now because like Chinese people steal like secrets here and there from us.
Yeah, it'd be insane. It would be insane. It would never happen. But it could.
But like also again, secret police, like the Basiji in Iran.
Yeah, they would be a secret police.
It's like it's so much of a different world. And like
this is a guy that hasn't left the country.
I don't know. Cause like Hakeem and the other guy do a podcast where they actually are like like one guy is like from the Balkans, and like Hakeem is supposed to have like a PhD and from Iraq, so he at least has cultural exposure enough.
Sure.
This is just cope though. To try, it's what it is. It's downplaying shit like the Basiji.
Again, it's just like I've been saying with Russia and Ukraine, the people who do whataboutisms are just helping Russia because it's downplaying what Russia's doing, right? Same thing, right?
That's the point.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Like, these people don't understand what we're talking about when we say this to them because they're stupid.
Ignorant.
Yeah,
I think it's mostly a side effect of white privilege, honestly.
I'm not going to go that far, but you can stick with that theory.
Yeah, no. Well, I think a lot of it is like a side effect of like white privilege. I also like the nation state brain complex. Like
Yeah.
like okay, just like currency, everything is done in the USD, right?
Mm.
So like I understand that communists want to completely overthrow capitalism and shit like that. I'm just saying that's like really dumb.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know, it
just
would be like cool if we could just like and capitalism didn't exist. Awesome. And like we like the didn't have the system fall apart, but
Mm.
like autonomy, right? Like uh these breakaway states, they're going to start being recognized while the UN structure collapses
Mhm.
because it's inevitable, right? These states don't have a structure to exist right now. You know, like South Sudan, look at how much it had to go through to even exist.
Yeah.
So these states will eventually start coming in. And guess what? They will use, well, they'll be nations, but they will
Mm.
use the currency that they already have. It's like the CFR in Africa, as fucked up as it is.
Isn't it based on the French?
Yeah, they have to. So every country that uses the CFR, they have to keep uh, half of their country's wealth into the French banks, and it
Oh,
can't be
what the
like
fuck?
it's literally collateral. Like they can't take more than 50% of the wealth out. So what happens when they need that? Like a famine hits or something, huh?
Mm.
Oh, well, then you lose your CFR status.
Oh, well, it's not France's fault. They pulled out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Everything is
Crazy.
France's fault.
Yeah.
That's another thing too.
But yeah, like this whole just the this is so just beyond the pale stupid. This is possibly one of the dumbest things I've ever seen put in a video. To compare
So do we know these people on the right are plainclothes police? Like, why is he profiling? Who's he targeting here?
it's definitely the dude with the glasses.
Uh-huh.
100%. He's like, oh, aviators, definitely undercover cop. But like, just to compare what the idea of the secret police is, right? If someone says secret police to you, what do you think of,
Oh, the Gestapo.
right? So, how exactly are non-uniformed cops the same as that in any world? There
Well,
isn't
they
one.
send you to the work camp.
It's so stupid. I can't get over it.
I'm even like throwing him a bone, like being like, "Yeah, we should criticize the prison structure. But this
Yeah.
is stupid. Like, come on.
Have-
We need to. How about we just like not have people being shot during traffic stops? Okay, here we
Oh
go.
my god.
Gulag
Gulags,
detention
we
center.
have
Come on,
detention
dude.
center.
It's a migrant overflow like detention center, right? Like normally that's what a detention center is, right? Migrant overflow. Gulag is a fucking slave labor camp. Like it's totally different things. And also, why would you not compare this to Guantanamo? Like
Yes.
anytime we can shit on Guantanamo, we need to
Do it.
take it.
Yeah.
Because the existence of Guantanamo is America's enduring legacy of slavery.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, by the way, house far more inmates than the Soviet Union ever did.
Oh no.
And of course, we don't have slave labor, we have penal labor. We
Yep.
put inmates to work manufacturing hand sanitizer during a
So-
pandemic or fighting
Yeah,
fires
I
because
told you,
enshrined in
Andrew
the
Cuomo
13th
did
Amendment
that.
to the United States Constitution, slavery is
Uh-huh.
illegal except
Yep.
as punishment for a crime.
Yep.
And a lot of
Guess
the
what?
time, that crime is just being poor.
Guess what the modern slavery experts tell us we need to do? Guess what's the first thing they tell us we need to do?
Non-violent offenders freed.
No, to like, specifically get rid of the fucking penal labor like that. They
Ah.
specifically cite this amendment.
Interesting.
Fucking because everything we do, fucking antebellum had to get a fucking clause in theirs. You know?
Every time.
Well,
Or
that you
a
heard
parking
what
ticket you
Abraham
couldn't
Lincoln said. If he, you know, it wasn't about freeing the slaves; it was about keeping the union together, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes you appease corruption to keep your
Nationalism.
state together.
What's best for the state is best for all.
Hey, getting caught with the same drug a rich person uses,
Okay.
but you don't have the money to buy yourself out of
Bro,
trouble.
these are like old school like slave camps. These like we need to like get with the times and like point out like our modern problems.
But he's using a modern movie.
These are like it's like what Cop City is being built on is what this thing was.
Yeah.
We don't have a Ministry of War. We have a Department of Defense.
Do you understand
what's never once fighting a defensive war?
Dude,
This
the key is in the vocabulary. What are they
Mhm.
defending? Do you think they're defending America's homeland or America's interests? Do you understand?
His interests.
Do you understand?
No, he doesn't.
The
Every
Department of
military
War
action
exists
taken
when
by
a
the
general
United
is
States.
appointed to a war. Like the war in Iraq, a Department of War is created with that general. We have that. The Department of Defense is like a sly word to say that you're defending America's interests.
Yeah.
Because we defend the waterways, you know, which is our interest to do so.
From bombing hospitals to drone
just a
striking
dumb
foreign
criticism.
citizens is given the cover of defense.
No, that's a
We
war.
don't have state media or propaganda. We just have news.
Yes,
Those
we
news
do.
outlets are, of course,
Jesus
Voice of America is state media.
Christ.
Yeah, sure. China's worse with state media. Who gives a fuck? As long as it says that it's state media, you should be able to engage and understand where the bias
I
of the
agree.
source comes from. Shut
I
up.
agree.
Both these last 2 points have been stupid as fuck.
All
Everyone
owned by
has a War Department, okay?
same corporate interests who funnel millions of dollars a year into government pockets to make sure their profits are secure. And their
Lobbyists.
anchors dutifully
no.
repeat the ruling class's ideological positions.
This is extremely dangerous to
can't
our
wait.
democracy.
This is extremely dangerous.
Yes, I love this. So this is a single network who gave the same script to all their things, right? Pretty standard. And everyone on the fucking right wing and the tankies took this and was like, "Oh, look at this video." Do you remember this?
Dangerous
They do
to
it
our
all the time.
democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our
hilarious.
democracy.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Bro,
Their guys are
look
dictators,
up
ours are
regular
presidents.
news on the internet. Watch how many articles are exactly copy-pasted, bro.
So many. I've been noticing this. I get multiple sources, same fucking article.
Yeah, literally no new information revealed in any of the articles.
No.
It might be like moved around a bit. Like, yeah,
Even when I was doing my job as a contributor for the Daily Caller, it was like, I would just aggregate information from multiple articles and put it into a single one. But it's like, if I did my job correctly, that article should cover all the information that I found. Which theoretically, if you're reading that article, would give you all the information and you wouldn't need to go to a different article to read more, right? That would be the job and how to do it, except these people just fucking copy paste Reuters articles straight onto their website. It's insane.
Their state has a regime, ours has a government.
What does a Castro call himself? Does he call himself president?
No.
When the United States,
I think he retained his rank.
I think they referred to him as President Castro. President, what about the President of Cuba? Let's see what PBS says here. See if it calls him a dictator or president. Okay. Cuban president.
Prime Minister from 59 to 76, President from 76 to 08.
Okay, he's one of those people.
Yeah.
Hero or villain. So it's saying some people see him as a ruthless dictator. So PBS literally says the American experience. That's the source, and it's literally saying his legacy is complicated, and it's divided how he's fused. Literally, oh, guess who it does directly call a dictator though?
Who?
Batista. PBS. American
Interesting.
experience. So, I think you owe President Castro an apology. Second thought. Calling him a dictator, you piece of shit.
Government. We are free and happy, they're oppressed and miserable. Our nuclear arsenal is for deterrence. Theirs is a threat to global peace, despite the US being the only country on Earth to have ever used nuclear weapons.
Okay.
Hello, friend. Does America threaten people with nuclear weapons, or does America hold their nuclear weapons as a means not to be attacked by other people who have nuclear weapons?
Well, the thing is that when America used those nuclear weapons,
it was everyone
looked at each other and said, "Wow, that was a really bad idea, right? And then it never happened again because everyone recognized that was not everyone, because Dwight Eisenhower totally wanted to bomb some commies before they got the bomb. Say, if we bomb them now, we can keep them down with nuclear weapons, But yeah, he's totally the guy who is against the military-industrial complex. You totally are reading that speech right.
Weapons,
Guys.
and we did it twice on civilians on purpose.
It
We
was
have a
called
democracy;
strategic
they
bombing.
have a dictatorship. Despite, by all
Guess when it
accounts, places
ended.
like Cuba and China having far more representation and opportunity for democratic involvement than places like the U.S.
Amazing. Amazing, 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 amazing. Oh my god.
So he's one of these people that says the U.S. isn't a democracy for some reason because it doesn't have like certain arbitrary things or something like that. Bro, if you can, like I said, Turkey is literally a democracy. Like Erdogan was almost voted out of office, right? If Turkey can show that it's a democracy and Cuba can't, enough said, dude. Be
Fucking
better.
kill me.
Challenge.
And I want to die. I hate this video. Hate this. I just said it so many times. Watch any of the other fucking videos that I've watched to explain why China does not have opportunities for people. But I guess it gives opportunities to the girls who are sold to politicians and then raped by them. But yeah, I guess that's opportunity, right?
So the way we talk about government structures, characteristics, and actions matters.
Okay.
Without even
You
knowing
didn't
it,
talk
we can
about
end up falling
structure
prey to some very subtle, very sophisticated propaganda.
Oh, but he talked about regimes and democracy.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, this is that. That's that. We call this one that. We call that this one that. We call this one that. Oh, can you believe that we call it a street and they call it an avenue?"
That primes us to hate people we've never met, whose economic and government structures we know nothing about, and with whom we share far more in common.
I know more than you.
Me too. I know more than you, and I know nothing.
I like the structures. The structures that I will say that I hate. I have justification for that. Like, maybe don't use sarin gas on children or anyone in general.
That'd be cool.
That would probably be a good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good start. Pretty low bar to pass.
Yeah,
it's a very low bar to pass.
Yeah.
We do with our own leaders. Okay, fine, but those are just words. Who cares?
Didn't he say he wasn't going to do whataboutism this video?
Hey, can you go back 5 seconds? I want to see if this point is as dumb as I think.
We do with our own leaders.
What we keep
okay,
one more.
Fine.
What do we do with our own
we
leaders?
share far more in common than we do with our own leaders. Okay, fine, but those are just words. Who cares what we call our stuff? All right, let's talk specifics.
Bro,
in a striking 2012 article
the
by
previous
Adam
president is on trial for many crimes right now.
Who?
Trump, right?
Yeah.
So like our leaders are literally on trial. Like he got RICO charges, bro. Like for a president.
It's pretty major.
Like and like the whole and he's like, this is Biden, this is corruption. Like Biden is such a good strategy of like, I'm not gonna comment on it because it's definitely gonna take care of itself.
And it's the best way to do it. It's a smart strategy. Whoever's on his team is doing a good job.
Yeah, it's telling him to shut the fuck up. Yeah, smart strategy.
Trump do your
should
fucking
try
job.
it.
America. The author notes that, quote, overall, there are now more people under correctional supervision in America, more than 6 million, than were in the gulag under Stalin at its height. And this is coming from an American writer with a...
Hey, you ever hear about the Cannibal Island under Stalin?
I think so, yeah.
So these people that he literally this was his for prisoning, people. He just put them all on an island, and they eventually had to resort to eating each other.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
there were 14 million people imprisoned in gulags from 29 to 53.
But they killed them. How many people died in these fucking gulags? Like they weren't just work camps. These were death camps too.
How many people died? 1.6 million. So a quarter of the Holocaust was killed in the gulags. That's a lot.
And what about famine? Right. So like the people that they would arrest because they're not obeying the authority, so they do it a deliberate famine to kill them. Do those count towards the prison population?
Don't know.
Do you understand why we don't want to compare numbers and oh, we have prisons, they have gulags? Shut the fuck up, okay? We can literally dissect America's structures without comparisons to fucking gulags. It's literally recognized as modern slavery. It's not fucking difficult, dude.
Also, Russia had 100 million people in 1930 when the gulags were around. America has 336 million people. So
I was about to say, don't do population statistics because people will show that the population went up, like the Jewish population went up during the Holocaust, which is a fake thing, you know.
I know, but I'm
they were
just
doing it with.
comparing.
They were literally doing it with Gaza.
He directly compared American prisons to the gulags, so I just wanted to make that point that there was
also hey, guess what? The gulags, I mean, they have work camps now, but like these Stalinist gulags, they don't exist anymore. Would you believe it? America also had like internment camps around that time. Also, they had just dropped a nuclear bomb on some that era is not today. Like we have relevant things.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to compare them. And even if you do compare them, you just get your shit deconstructed just like you just did. So just don't. Avoid the embarrassment.
Hitler
thoroughly
wasn't
liberal
fucking
worldview.
bad because he was fucking killing Jews.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd be getting a free beak washing, did you, buddy?
That was so good together.
Comparison because, as we all know, Stalin, gulags, and the Soviet Union are the trifecta of what the average person sees as authoritarianism.
Oh my god.
The fact that we're doing worse than
Stalin was totalitarian, you fucking idiot. Words matter.
that, even if you buy the inflated numbers of widely debunked books like the Black Book of Communism, should tell you something. And fun fact, the CIA wrote a report in the 50s that the whole Stalin strongman thing was largely a
I'm just going to ignore that.
myth. It was just a very useful myth to the capitalist powers, so why not perpetuate it? But I
40 million people died under Stalin.
know what you're thinking. Everybody knows the US has a thing for prisons. That's like one thing we could ease back on a little.
Sorry, between 25 and 40 million people. Let me just be specific here.
That doesn't make the country authoritarian. Let's continue then. How about
You're right, it's totalitarian, you fucking moron.
surveillance?
Oh god, don't.
Oh no.
Please don't. I swear to God, if we bring up Julian
that
Assange
citizens
here,
of
I'm going to lose
socialist
my
states are the
mind.
subject of extreme surveillance.
Oh,
But
yeah.
what
Oh,
if I
God.
told you that none of them hold a candle to the US? Don't believe me?
Shut
Take a look-
up. Bro, Israel exists. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, Israel spies on America more than America spies on America.
You know how he loves his little Google things?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do something.
I already am eating from the trash can all the time.
I can't see what it says. So.
It says, there is one lens for every 2 citizens in China. Shut the fuck up.
One what?
1 camera per 2 people in China.
Huh.
But America's surveillance is worse.
Yeah, well, they can watch us in Minecraft.
Chinese companies literally
Bro,
report...
you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? VPN's not being illegal here.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
You know what else?
Having an internet.
We have encrypted text. We can just download an app and have encrypted text. Isn't that wild, bro?
It's great. You know, it's also great having an internet.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
UN recognized human right, in fact.
Yeah, pretty good.
2 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Thanks to this piece of legislation, every single person in the United States is the subject of incredibly intense scrutiny. We have a mass surveillance...
Wasn't this shut down?
This is, I'm pretty sure this is like Edward Snowden shit.
It's what?
It's like Edward Snowden shit. Like, literally, like...
Yeah, from like 2004. But this article's from 2023.
What do you think they were looking for inside our country with that? You know? Do you think they were looking at, like, actual Americans or what?
Also, it says warrantless surveillance of Americans' international communications. Okay? So, if you're calling internationally, they're listening. Okay.
Well, unless you use like an encrypted.
Sure. If you're calling through a cellular phone connected to a network in America, then they're listening to your international calls. Is that the equivalent of having two cameras or one camera per two people in China? I don't think
Okay.
so.
Unlike domestic criminal surveillance, warrants issued under Title III, Omnibus Crime Bill, Street Safe Act, Wiretap Act, agents need to demonstrate probable cause to believe that the target of surveillance is a foreign power or agent of a foreign power, that a significant purpose of the surveillance is to obtain foreign intelligence information, and that appropriate minimization procedures are in place. Agents do not need to demonstrate that commission of a crime is imminent, right? So they can justify the surveillance even if they don't think a crime is about to happen.
If they're a foreign agent,
Yeah,
or
if they
working for a foreign
yeah.
spy agency.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, if you're a spy, you can get spied upon. Cool. Okay.
I
Okay.
think
And this
if
is
I'm
just
reading it
international.
correctly,
Okay. And then this is warrantless surveillance of
this is electronic
international communication.
surveillance. This is the
Okay, so
procedure
it's
for
even different.
right? And then the third stipulation is like a for purposes FISA agents of foreign powers include agents of foreign political organizations or groups engaged in international terrorism, as well as agents of foreign nations, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty broad, but also like I know exactly what it's talking about. Like
Yeah.
so we for example, there's Haqqani network here, right? They're not like active, like they might still communicate with like family and stuff like that, but like there's people who like get on like terrorist watch lists because they may have like helped finance something and things like that. So again, if I haven't needed to worry yet, I think you'll be fine. Second thought.
Program that allows for the collection.
You really got real pro Hamas lately, because unless that happened, and that's why you got kicked off in Nebula or whatever.
Of phone conversations, text messages, emails, web searches, and social media messages. Everything you do is being monitored. But wait,
false.
Wait, it's called the foreign surveillance.
Record destruction, where the government has accidentally intercepted communication that, under circumstances in which a person has reasonable expectation of privacy and a warrant would be required for law enforcement purposes, and if both the sender and all intended recipients are located within the United States, the government is required to destroy those records unless the Attorney General determines that the contents indicate a threat of death or serious bodily harm to any person. So as long as you're not talking about murdering people, then it's literally against the law for them to surveil you if you're talking to somebody inside this country.
Cool. Okay, so we can skip this entire part because we just disproved his entire point. Cool.
Literally, what's crazy is he told us what document to look up, and then you just had to read it.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Fucking absolute mongoloid.
There's a whole civil rights protection carve out here too.
Interesting. Oh, he's talking about on authority.
Agents of foreign powers may include U.S. citizens, permanent residents suspected of being engaged in espionage and violating U.S. law or territory under U.S. control. Amend the definition of agent of a foreign power. So that's an amendment.
Mm-hmm.
New category of covered individual called the lone wolf provision. Okay, that one is a little problematic.
Huh?
Like I said, this one is going to make me take hours because he's not going to present any data and just make shit up the whole time.
Medicine history, that all sounds pretty bad. But at least we have the freedom to criticize the government, right?
Yes.
Secret police aren't going to come drag us away.
Yes.
There are no secret police. We already established this.
Bro, I've literally...
Well, I've got some bad news for you there, too.
Here we go.
U.S.
Julian
police
Assange.
are the most vicious and unaccountable in the world by far.
In the world?
Uh-huh.
I don't know about that.
There are plenty of videos online of police arresting journalists, brutalizing peaceful protesters.
Saudi Arabia chopped up a journalist.
Yeah.
You're telling me American police are worse than that?
Hey, do you think journalism is allowed in Eritrea?
Absolutely not.
Hey, remember when Turkey arrested Jake Hannaran?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And he said it was like the scariest experience of his life. Hey, where did that one journalist get chopped up? What country was that?
Oh, that was America.
No,
Wasn't
no,
it?
no. No, it was in a
Wasn't
Turkish
Khashoggi?
consulate.
Where was he?
Turkey. It was a
He
Turkish
was in
consulate.
Turkey.
Yeah, it
No
was the
shit.
Saudi consulate in
Okay.
Turkey. Also,
Interesting.
there was totally like
Surveillance footage?
yeah, there's like there was definitely some intelligence people who had a mic in that place, and also his phone recorded his death.
Oh my god!
You can hear it on the audio.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah. It's like so definitive that like this happened.
Jesus Christ!
And now we know that also the one thing is like implicated in his death. It is like, how about that? Want to talk about accountability? How about that?
Yeah. What do the Russian police do again? Oh, what about North Korea? Oh, and China.
Hey, remember like how Iran was
India?
literally just the police like raped a girl and threw her off her
Yeah.
building?
Pretty great. Yeah, Iran's police are pretty great. Definitely better than America's. Who else? Venezuelan police. I bet you they're pretty good as well. Very accountable.
Greek police, no accountability
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Greek, very accountable. I bet you Hungarian police are probably pretty accountable too. I bet you they've got no allegiance to the guy in the head of the state. No.
Hey, what do you think the Afghan police are like?
What police?
Who runs those? What department do you think runs those? The Afghan police. Do you think that's
Department of the Taliban.
Do you think that's the interior? Do you think the
Oh, you mean
interior?
Haqqani?
Oh.
But no. America's police are the worst.
Even laughing about killing innocent people.
Oh yeah, American police are fucking garbage.
Laughing about killing innocent people. Fucking go to fucking Gaza where they fucking are talking about how they got a child that they shot with snipers and they're laughing because their legs flew up in the air when it happened. Shut the fuck up.
Ah, that's another country. Israel loves to shoot a journalist.
How do you like criticize police so poorly that like I have to be irritated by it?
How it's so easy. I just don't
like no democratic country just like kills people on the street like we do.
Yeah, it's wild.
I have a whole video on the subject, actually.
Oh,
but here's the gist of it. According to ongoing reporting, U.S. police kill over 1,000 American citizens per year. 1,000 people. And I can hear the objection already. Yeah.
Dude, these fucking spit hoods, we need to outlaw them. This is totally like, as far as I'm concerned, from the UN regulations, this is recognized as torture especially because right now the way he's sitting with his arms position that's a stress position. Yeah, so that's totally bagging and stress position. That is 100% torture, and it kills people. This type of shit kills people all the time. These fucking spit hoods, man.
There must be a better way to do spit hoods.
Well, they got the Bola gun that they're gonna use now. They can just wrap them up Wile E. Coyote style.
I guess they can also just like deal with being spit on. It's pretty gross, but
well, they might have AIDS, so the cops are concerned.
Sure.
Yeah, well, some of those people were probably criminals. Police are not meant to be judge, jury, and executioner. They're meant to arrest people if they have to, and then hand them over to the judge, jury, and we really should talk about the executioner part.
Hey, guess what? Police in other countries are not judge and jury, they're just executioner. They can just kill whoever they want. Like, it just doesn't matter. And America, honestly, that's kind of the case too. Like, this fucking cop, why did these looting that happened in Philly that they're still crying about? Because a cop fucking killed somebody. They shot through their window. Like, there's a recent, like, the joke is like, hey, don't do this and you won't be shot by police. And it's like literally the picture is the guy like grabbing the cop's chin and pushing him back. Right? like obviously this ended in gunfire, but like the
Mm.
pretext leading up to this. So the cop pulled him over because it was a black guy, and he said, "Hey, you look like somebody who's under armed robbery." This guy had been arrested before, spent 15 years, then was freed because it was proven that he didn't do the crime, right?
Oh my god.
And so the cop says he's like gonna arrest the guy, and then that's the guy starts getting a little unstable, right?
Because he spent 15 years in a torture fucking
Yeah,
home
but it's not like the
and he
cop
doesn't want
like
to go back.
knows that, you know.
Sure.
So, and also with at one point, like literally, like they shoots him twice in the lungs, and it's like the video, like it's all on like if you police activity,
Mm.
and like he's like dying there for a while, but like a Brinks truck backs up, and a Brinks guy comes out with a gun too, to like hold him down.
What the
Even though the
fuck?
guy's like literally dead on the ground, so he's just sitting here holding a gun to like a guy who's like shot in the lungs twice.
My
And like
favorite part about
the
American
cop
police
tased
is that
him and beat the shit out of him with the
Mm.
nightclub. It didn't do shit, you know?
Yeah. My
So
favorite thing about the American cops is that they can just like, they have a duty of care, but they just let them bleed out on the floor. It's great.
yeah, and they yell, "Stop resisting!
Mm-hmm.
Show me your hands, or I'll shoot you
Yep.
again!" Pop, pop, pop. Yeah,
And the other thing that I like about American police is that they're trained to empty their magazine. That's
yeah.
great. That's so
Well, and
good
then
because
there's that.
the dead can't protest against you.
Here's,
It's
and we
it's
want to
that
talk about the
simple.
surveillance state. Do you know what the shot detector is?
No.
So on our power poles, we literally have microphones that will tell police where gunshots go off and
No
dispatch
shit.
them. Right? So there's this case, it was maybe like a year or two ago, but a cop shoots the kid once, it goes through
Mm.
his belly, hits him in the spine, kills him on the spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
The kid had a gun, he threw it behind the fence, right? And the cop panicked when he turned, he shot the kid, and the cop is literally on camera being like, "Oh god, no, 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 come on, buddy,
Mm.
come on." Like the cop wasn't there to like kill him, right? The
Mm.
guy had a gun and he ran and he threw it behind the fence, and like and this guy like he didn't do the mag dump, you know? Like it was just one of
A
those
one
shots
shot.
that ended up
Mm.
being in the spine. There's also that one where the guy doesn't come to a briefing and goes to like an undercover drug bust, and then he shoots the fuck out of his commanding officer. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, bro, he's crying. Oh my god, what have
Oh
I
my
done? What have I done? Cop lives, right?
Of course. Fuck's sake. That's so funny. Well, you shouldn't have skipped the briefing, dickhead.
Also, can we talk about the dogs that they kill? That's, I
Yeah.
mean, we can also talk about how that's fucked up, because they just have like that's really where they have no accountability. A dog barks at them and
Yeah.
they can just kill it. Bro, also you see this woman who was killed because a cop shot her dog, and they missed and they shot her in the spine and killed
No
her.
shit.
Yeah. She was literally laying on her lawn, tanning in a bathing suit, waiting for her boyfriend to like come, right? But it's
That's
like
insane.
it's like one of those things where it's like kind of like a sidewalk, right? So it's like a lawn
Yeah.
kind of at the edge of the sidewalk.
Mm.
And so the cop got dispatched for a wellness check, and it's literally her house, and her dog is like a puppy.
Mm.
And the dog like runs toward the cop, and the cop is screaming, "Control your dog!" Pop, 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 kills the dog and the woman.
It's so absurd. There was
Right?
this one that I
And
saw of a
this
golden
is so much
retriever.
different than what they do in like
Yeah.
Iran, though. You know, it's
Oh, it's
fucked
totally
up in a
different.
different way. I don't think
Yeah.
it's not a
It's not
scale of
comparable.
like fucked up, but it's also like
None of the countries are comparable except for like China and North Korea, but it's like no country is really comparable. I mean, you can kind of compare sort of vaguely on certain things like Western countries or Middle Eastern countries or
you could do it like
African
within an
countries.
index if you're staying
Yeah.
within the index.
But like when it comes to like very cultural things like police, it's nothing's comparable. There are no two alike. So every country has their issues. America has their specific issues, and like we listed off, so do all the countries that we listed. They're just different,
Yeah.
right?
And I don't think
And this is the
it
thing.
eliminates how specific America is by
Yeah.
doing these comparisons.
Yes.
It
And
prevents us from solving problems.
Yeah, and this is the one thing that I really, really want to harp on is that I've forgotten.
Sorry.
It would be constitutional for the government to target and kill any U.S. citizen with a drone or with a shotgun without due process.
Without due process at the end is just like
I'm so angry that I forgot what I was going to say because it was a good point.
Only he will bring us closer when we fall to our knees.
I'm so tired.
Social media on any day of the week, and you'll see a story of an officer-involved shooting, where the media tries really hard to twist the reporting to make the cop sound less like a murderer. With body cameras often required these days, it's getting harder for them to hide their crimes.
Thank God
they
we
still
have
try.
journalists
Anyway,
and body
the bottom-
cameras. You know, like
Yeah. Did you hear about that I can't remember where he was from. Black dude, right? Cops do a no-knock raid. Shoot his girlfriend, he shoots back. Cops arrest him, he gets in trouble for shooting at cops, gets off. Self-defense. Castle doctrine. How fucking lit is that? Fucking so I think that might have been the first case of Castle doctrine ruling in favor of the occupant against the police, and now the police are basically not doing no-knock raids in certain places because people are allowed to shoot them. Heckles that.
That's real accountability.
Yeah, it's great. It's excellent. So this is a positive thing.
Yeah. Also, you think? Let me tell you a story about a country called Saudi Arabia where a man detained his own mother, who runs that country. So so we call this Dubai pilled, you know, where they have the fucking Dubai brain, you know.
Yeah.
It breaks them. Have you seen the fucking clock tower at Mecca? It's before him, but it's like the worst thing. It's so bad. Saudi Arabia ruined Mecca.
Really?
Have you seen what it looks like? It happened like maybe a decade ago. I think it's before him.
I think I've seen it. It might be an old picture. I'm not sure. It's very gold, from what I can remember.
It's so ugly.
We still have 10 minutes of this video. I want to die.
Bro, wait till you see this shit. It's so awful. Like, what are you doing? Like, you go to Mecca and this is what you have to look at now, right?
Oh, they built around it.
It's like this is like a massive like hotel because like all the people come to like Mecca, right? So it's like a massive hotel. But isn't that fucking awful?
Yeah.
Right?
Right next to it. That's gross.
Literally looking over it, right? Awful. Awful. Now, that's not even their biggest defense. So the Niam, the line, right? The horizontal city that is literally just not happening, and all it is like some graphic designers who made like cool, impossible architecture on the website, right? But that doesn't stop the state apparatus going outside to these like Bedouin people who have just been living out here peacefully for like, you know, kingdom and kingdom and kingdom and kingdom. They've just been out here just like doing their thing, and they're like, hey, you need to get off this land because we're gonna build a fucking horizontal city because we have Dubai brain. And they're like, we don't want to. Guess what happens?
Murder.
Yeah, they just kill him. Yep. Never heard from again.
Murder.
No, it literally doesn't matter. They can kill whoever they want there. Even American citizens in NATO countries. So
Then give a fuck.
Yeah. Accountability would be great.
Bottom line is this. If we look at any other country on Earth, the hot button supposed authoritarian hellhole of the day,
totalitarian,
and we compare police violence stats, the US is far worse.
My God.
Hear my chinchilla barking?
I can. He stopped.
Hey, buddy. He's fine. He tried to fight me. Okay.
I'm just going to skip this whole police bit because
irrelevant.
We aren't going to get accurate policing statistics from China at all, ever. That's never going to happen. Also, they're probably black bagging and murdering and disappearing hundreds of thousands of people a year, but we're not ever going to know that. But doesn't care about this fact because China is a blameless state that is not committing genocide.
Well, also, I think we've kind of like said, what else can we say on police?
Yeah. All right, let's go to Marx.
Oh boy.
Engels. This large and the nature of revolution a little better. Let's go back to the man himself.
History lesson.
No, the other. They are betraying the movement of the
Gross.
This was the case in Chile in 1973,
There you go.
when the democratically elected socialist president Salvador Allende failed to
This
take
is
preventative measures to ensure
This triggers them so much, these commies. This
the
triggers
vicious
more than the
reactionary
atom bomb, for sure. For sure.
You reckon?
Oh, it's gotta. The atom
class
bomb
and
is
their
like easier to throw out, but like this one hurts them personally.
US-based co-conspirators couldn't undermine them. Long story short, the Chilean right wing launched a US-backed and US-funded coup to overthrow the government, eliminate Allende, and install a fascist military dictatorship that plunged the country into recession and suffering.
Is this the helicopter guy?
For decades.
You know who else does
in
that?
order to avoid the
Throw
Communists?
people out of helicopters, specifically.
I have no idea.
Erdogan.
Really?
Yeah, people survived it, and they like ended up in the hospital. Have you seen
Jesus
it?
Christ.
Have you seen the picture
No, I
of the
haven't.
survivor? Keep playing. I'll pull it up.
is happening, a budding socialist project, or heck, any project, requires police, it requires the shutting down of reactionary
ACAB includes red cops.
outlets, the banning of certain kinds of speech. There's a reason Germany banned everything related to the Nazis, for example. It's because they wanted to keep that sentiment from spreading as much as possible. It requires an intelligence apparatus to listen for terror.
This is me, the joke. Hey, what is that? Maybe it's authoritarian for America to tell them they can't have Nazis in their country. You want to see what it looks like when you survive falling out of a helicopter and you end up in the hospital? Guess why you got thrown out of the helicopter?
Do you insult him?
Kurdish.
Kurdish?
Yep.
Very cool.
Farmer.
Good guy, Erdogan.
Well, was it Erdogan personally, but
Oh, sure. He probably ordered it, though.
yeah, there's pictures of it.
Fucking hell.
Plots, which were all too common post-revolution. In East Germany, the reactionaries would routinely attempt to blow up civilian train lines. It requires prisons to keep these people off the streets. And historically speaking, the socialists have been much better at using prisons for rehabilitation rather than just packing human beings away to rot.
Should we talk about the rehabilitation centers in communist countries?
I mean, can we talk about how rehabilitation in America is designed to fail?
Yes.
I think that's more
Like,
important. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about China's rehabilitation rate. I do not give a fuck about China.
But like the rehabilitation, like don't they send them to rehabilitation camps? Don't they send the Uyghurs?
Oh
to
yeah.
rehabilitation
Well, I
camps?
think they said they stopped doing that.
Okay. But rehabilitation camps, when said by a communist country, is re-education. It's propagandized re-education and brainwashing.
Well,
they're
Don't be stupid. Stop being ignorant. You're an idiot.
They love that. Hassan himself has said exactly that.
Rot like we do in the US. These things may not be morally correct, but like it or not, they are necessary. And that's something that every system has agreed on. I would love nothing more than to see an alternative work, but it never has.
So that means you should never try again and never try in the future. Just
gotta
give up and submit and lick that boot.
I got a great headline here.
Mm-hmm.
AKP, Turkish party, right? AKP admits something happened when asked about throwing Kurdish men out of army helicopter.
Maybe one day I'll be proven wrong. That would be amazing. But to the people who believe it is possible, you need to ask yourself how it's going to happen.
Exile.
We've seen what the people in Tsarist Russia had to do. We've seen what the Cubans had to do. We've seen what the
executions and mass murder?
Okay. Here's an
Vietnamese
idea.
had to do.
What if we outlaw modern slavery in our prisons, right? For starters. Okay. That's a good one. Also, what if
all
we
non-violent criminals freed?
Get rid of legalize all drugs, right? Actually do the whole like socialist thing and like build up the bottom class.
And how about not retaining criminal records for however long, so people can actually get jobs after they leave prison instead of going back? That'd be cool as well.
Maybe the state should be specifically providing prisoners with resources and helping them get jobs. The state should facilitate the rehab process all the way. and it shouldn't be punishment. It should be a rehabilitation based
Yes.
thing, and it's currently based around punishment because Americans they haven't killed their inner Hitler. They need people to suffer for things.
The Chinese had to do, what the Americans had to do to separate from the British. Your anti-authoritarianism, while I genuinely believe it comes from a good place, is handing an easy victory to the capitalist regime. They want you to play by their rules. It's their game. You play by their rules.
Okay, so what do we want to get rid of police or scarcity? Because I was gonna say like I was thinking, I would rather kind of like I think getting rid of scarcity is like an easier, more attainable goal than like solving like an authority problem. But at the same time, like, can we just like fix the 13th Amendment? Like little things.
I mean, it's also not that hard to not be a cunt too.
Oh yeah, let's close Guantanamo.
Yeah, that'd be a good start.
One final thing that's important to note is
God.
that this anti-authoritarian
Okay, I'm done. Fuck this guy.
No, I want to hear a final note. One final
stance
thing to
is
know.
very much a Western thing. And I think the reason for that is that we here in the Imperial Core...
That is
Imperial
so,
Core.
That is
bro,
so fundamentally untrue.
This is like so arrogant and white privilege taked.
Isn't it?
Bro, Syrians asked for basic democracy, and army gunships came in and started shooting protesters for that, right? Like Egypt faked a whole like turnover to put a military regime in power. Tanzania did the same thing. Look at Beirut. Beirut literally exploded. The government was at fault, and it swept it underneath the rug. No justice for the people.
Also, to say that anti-authoritarianism is Western, is so ignorant.
Also, like, who do you think we were fighting in Iraq? Do you think we were fighting like al-qeada or like people who are loyal to Saddam, or do you think we were fighting people who had like an anti-authoritarian platform and saw al-qeada, Iran, and the Americans as authoritarian invaders into their country? What about that? Do you think it's just something that's a Western idea, or do you think those guys literally were making arguments that were anti-authoritarian? Wait until you, bro, let me introduce you to the Free Syrians in Idlib. Wait till you hear some of the shit they have to say about authoritarianism.
Or are in a very privileged position.
Yeah,
we can hold these naive beliefs because we don't have any skin in the game.
You're
not the ones under the boot.
Jesus Christ. My guy, I would be more anti-authoritarian if there was an authoritarian government in my country. You are a fucking coward.
I think it's a great
We're not the ones whose
coward, totally. Yep.
Resources are being extracted, or whose homes are being bombed, or whose cities are being occupied by armed invaders in the name of freedom and democracy.
Okay.
If someone invaded my country tomorrow, I would become a terrorist.
Well, technically, being a militant and fighting back isn't terrorism. It's not recognized.
Well, it would be terrorism to the invading state. But
no. You can't. You cannot do that. That's not how terrorism works. Literally, you can't do it with people who are doing self-defense. Like al-qeada were foreign fighters in Iraq. That's why they could be called terrorists. And literally, the Americans were like, "Do not say the word terrorist on these people." You'll show them respect, and you will call them insurgents.
Fair enough. I guess that makes sense. Let's just say a nuisance. Nuisance.
We have the luxury of condemning others because we've never been on the receiving end. Think for just a moment what it would be like if you...
This sounds horribly like someone who grew up with rich parents and then realized what he grew up in and then went the complete opposite way and went too far.
Your neighborhood was occupied by a foreign military force, doing unspeakable things to your friends and
Hassan
loved ones,
argument.
taking your belongings, burning homes, torturing people in the name of national security.
Are we going to do Hamas apologia?
What means would you resort to in that situation? I can't answer that for you, but it's something to think about. I know this has been kind of a heavy video, and for a lot of you, I'm sure this is the first time you've been asked to look at your home country more critically.
Nope.
Oh my God.
If you're interested in learning more about any of the stuff we've talked about, there are links.
Nope. Okay.
Who do you want to sign out with?
I got
You
one.
must have known you were wrong when your
Get rid of
fingers
it.
were dipped inside me, searching for honey that would not come for you.
بيت Dar dar, zanga zanga.
You know what's a good one? Is it is the one it's a long one, so it's like really hard to time. It's this one.
David, I mean, I know you're a sophisticated guy. The world is a mess. The world is as angry as it gets. Well, you think this is going to cause a little more anger? The world is an angry place.